All right, good morning and welcome to the Army Benefit Center's virtual cafe series. Today's presentation is on the injury compensation process and the various lanes of responsibility. To ensure that you have the best information possible, I have Ms. Lacey Beyer here with me this morning, and she is from our Injury Compensation Center of Excellence. Ms. Lacey is one of our team leads with many years of experience in the injury compensation field, so you are in very good hands. Ms. Lacey will be fielding any questions you may have on this topic. So if you do have questions, please use the live Q&A chat feature to ask your questions, and they'll be answered at the end of the briefing. You'll also be sent a copy of the presentation, slide deck, and a short customer survey to let us know how we are doing. We do encourage you to complete the survey, as it's an important tool for us to use to gauge the effectiveness of these sessions, as well as your opportunity to present us with any new topics that you would like to see in the future. Additionally, any questions you might have beyond this presentation, you can email them to me and I'll pass them along to our ICCOE folks. So without further ado, Ms. Lacey, please take it away.
Thank you, Brad. Good morning, everyone. So as Brad explained, I will be briefing today on the Federal Workers' Compensation Program that is centralized here at Fort Riley, Kansas. We process claims, we manage claims. We are the middleman between the employing agency and the Department of Labor. So we work with each member, supervisors, employees, along with the individuals at Department of Labor to make sure all claims are processed timely, accurately, and that all employees receive the benefits that they are entitled to. Go ahead with the next slide, Brad. So the Army Benefit Center Civilian Injury Compensation Center of Excellence, which you will hear us reference a lot as the ICCOE, provides guidance, review, and manage injury compensation claims to the employees and supervisors. We are not responsible for the approval or denial of any claims. We do not authorize any medical treatment, nor do we authorize or deny any compensation for time lost, scheduled awards, other wage loss. That is all at the authority agency, which is the Department of Labor. Again, our ICPAs, our Injury Compensation Program Advisors, we work with each individual, which are known as claims examiners at DOL, to make sure that the forms that are needed to process any medical treatment, compensation, claims are received to Department of Labor, so that way that we can get the ball rolling as far as the employees being seen by providers, getting the medical treatment, exams that are needed for their injury, and also to ensure that their compensations are paid timely. As you can see on the slide there, those are the best ways to contact us. Our phone center is available Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4. We are also available on Teams, so if you try to find your ICPA that might be that is assigned to your case, you can reach them via Teams, via the phone. There is also emails down at the bottom that you can reach us as well. Go ahead with the next slide. The Federal Employees Compensation Act, also known as FECA, provides compensation benefits to federal civilian employees or survivors for work-related injuries or illness. Workers' compensation is centralized and administered by the Department of Labor, DOL, and the Office of Workers' Compensation, OWCP. Filing a claim is a voluntary action and the burden of the employee to provide OWCP supporting documentation. So just to elaborate on this as well, employees are not, if they are injured, they are not required to file a claim if they choose not to. If they choose to do so, it will be at their on their responsibility to make sure that that claim is filed through our eComp system, and that they support and they provide any supporting documentations to establish that the injury was work-related. Our ICPAs are available to walk employees through this process. They can also contact the Department of Labor to make sure that all information is provided, what it is that they need to support their claim, and to make sure that this claim does go through very smoothly and that it is processed accurately. As a supervisor will be responsible for verifying the information that the employee has provided, along with communicating with the ICPA as far as any return to work actions, any time card coding if the employee is out of work due to the injury, and so on. Go ahead with the next slide. So these are just a few of the basic benefits that are awarded to employees when their claim is filed. This does not mean that they are entitled to every single benefit that is listed on here. It's going to depend on 1, what type of injury was filed, 2, was there any lost time from work, and 3, what the diagnosis of the injury is. The most basic one that is provided, and the one that will always be available as long as there is continued care, medical care, continued diagnosis for the employee, just has not reached that maximum medical improvement, and those are medical benefits. The Department of Labor will pay for medical treatment, examinations, physical therapy, etc., as long as the claim remains active and as long as the injury is still an issue with the employee. Continuation of pay is available for 45 calendar days from the date of injury. Those are only for traumatic injuries, or you will hear us reference those as claims filed on a CA1. This avoids any compensation that the employee will be owed through the employing agency for the first 45 calendar days that they may be out of work, they have doctor appointments, etc. Wage loss compensations are filed on CA7s. This is for if the employee is going to be out 80 consecutive hours due to the injury. The employing agency will not be responsible for paying the employee. The Department of Labor will actually pick up that debt. Now, with that said, the employee does have the option to use their own leave if they choose to do so. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there is a compensation percentage that is paid through the DOL only. They will not receive 100% of their base pay as if they were to use their own leave. Survivor benefits, if there is a death action due to a work-related injury. The employee is also entitled to retention rights 1 year from the date the compensation has started. So if an employee is going to be out for an excessive amount of time, whether it's a back injury, a knee injury, whatever the incident may be, the employee's retention rights to return to their date of injury position without any consequences, without any issues, those protect that employee because workers' compensation, the FECA program, is a return to work. We want to get these employees back to some type of employment as soon as there is medical releasing them to. Vocational rehabilitation, also known as Voc Rehab, that is a program through the Department of Labor. This program works with employees and vocab counselors to return an employee that may not have been able to return to their date of injury position. They were removed from the agency roles, but they have medical that's saying, hey, we can return them to work. We're going to put this in the Voc Rehab program. The Voc Rehab program will teach them new skills. They will put them through training, whatever is required to get that individual back to employment. Scheduled awards are awarded to employees who have lost a certain percentage of the body part that they had injured. These are filed on CA9 forms. We at the Army Benefits Center do not make the determination on what percentage will be paid to that employee due to the loss of the body part. That will go through the Department of Labor. They will make that determination after a medical examination has been set up by one of their providers. Go ahead with the next slide. Time limits on filing an OWCP claim. These are very important to keep in mind because we do follow these by the book, and these can also cause claim denials. So traumatic injuries, CA1 forms, they can be filed up to 3 years from the date of injury. For an employee to be entitled to continuation of pay and possibly other additional benefits, the claim must be filed within 30 calendar days from the date of injury on a CA1. An occupational disease and illness, a CA2 claim, again, 3 years from the date that the employee first realized that the disease or illness was caused by aggravation of the employment. So prime examples of a disease or illness caused by employment that they had become aware of is hearing loss, tennis elbow, carpal tunnel. Those are probably the three most common that we do see. So it is due to being exposed to the same thing, loud noises, constant keyboard typing, vibrations from tools that they may have used, that when they go to the doctor, they get these things checked out and the doctor goes, okay, this is probably due to your employment. That is when an employee can go in, if they choose to do so, to file the CA2 form to see to have their medical treatment for that injury taken care of. Also, they may be entitled to a scheduled award or any type of compensation through the CA2. The CA2 is not eligible for continuation of pay because majority of the time, I'd say about 90% of the time, these injuries do not cause an excessive amount of work lossage, especially with hearing loss, the employee can continue to work. Carpal tunnel, there's always, different variants depending on if the employee has to go through surgery, whatever the medical may say. But they are not entitled to continuation of pay because the 30 calendar days does not apply for a CA2. Next slide. So filing a workers' compensation claim, as I had mentioned earlier, the employee can go register for an account on the eComp DOL site. This is managed by the Department of Labor. You can, as an employee, they can file it from a work computer, a personal computer, an iPad, smartphone, any electronics devices. Apple seems to work very effectively when trying to file these claims from like an iPhone or an iPad. The injured or ill worker, again, they'll have to register for an account. We do recommend that they use their own personal email and not their work email. And the reason behind this is because if an employee is placed out of work due to their injury, they're still getting updates and notifications regarding their claim through their personal email, and they can access those while they are at home. There are tutorial videos that are provided on the eComp website that will walk an employee through how to file a claim, how to file CA7s, a CA9. There are also tutorials on there for supervisors on how to accurately review the claim, bring any possible fraud indication to the attention of the ICPA. These videos are about 5 to 10 minutes long. They are very beneficial. Like I said, it's pretty much a step-by-step guide for the employee and for the supervisor to accurately file a claim, review a claim, and also provides information as far as how the claim management process will go along with the history of the claim. Next slide. Access to care. The Department of Labor does offer a website to where employees can go in, and it's available right there on that slide, and find a provider who is under the OWCP, who is registered under the Department of Labor. Excuse me, let me reword that. So the site, what the employee can do is go in, they can type in their state, their city, and what type of provider it is that they are trying to find, whether it's orthopedic, audiology, primary care. Those doctors are going to be listed on that site, and it makes trying to find one a lot easier for these employees. Supervisors can also access that site to assist the employees on finding a doctor. It is very important so there's no issues with billing that will cause hardship on the employee, to make sure that when they do see a provider, that these employees or these providers, excuse me, are enrolled with OWCP. Now, the employee does have the right to, if they would like to see their family care physician, they may do so. We do discourage it because there has been issues with billing because the employee is not enrolled with DOL. Department of Labor requires all medical documentation be signed or co-signed by a licensed medical doctor, an MD. Physician's assistants and nurse practitioners at this time can see the employees. I know that there, a lot of times when we go into the ER or even a family practice, most of the time you are going to see a PA or a nurse practitioner. But it's very important that that medical gets signed by an MD, co-signed by an MD, to be considered sufficient for a diagnosis and claim management under the Department of Labor guidelines. Medical documentation to support the claim is also a very important factor that we at the ABCC cannot stress enough. Without medical documentation meeting the 5 basic elements for a claim to be accepted under DOL, the claim is either going to go under development or it could be denied. And we tell these employees all the time, you as an employee are going to be your best advocate when it comes to establishing that you sustained a work injury. You voluntarily made the decision to file this claim. It is going to be your responsibility to do the footwork to make sure that you receive the benefits that you are entitled to when you file a federal workers' compensation claim. Next slide. Are there any questions at this time for me? I know it seems like a lot of information that was pushed out, but happy to answer any questions. I do want to bring to, if there's any supervisors that may be on this training, that are the ICCOE does offer quarterly supervisor training. It is a live event that you can jump on. We do go into a little bit more detail as far as the claim process, the responsibilities of a supervisor, a little bit more detail on our return to work program and what it is that us at ABCC do to manage these claims, what we do to assist the employee, you as a supervisor, and again, return these employees back to work. The supervisor training can be found on the ABCC website under the Injury Compensation tab. From what I checked the last time, they did not have the dates updated, but you can contact myself. You can reach out to Brad or anybody at the ICCOE, and we will be happy to provide you the links and the dates and times of those upcoming trainings.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for a few questions, I want to go ahead and post our contact information, just so you can see that. And as Ms. Lacey said, please do not feel afraid to call in. We are more than happy to assist you with any questions or concerns that you have. Just a reminder, I will be sending out a copy of the slide deck and the feedback survey, along with a link to all the CHRSC. I'm sorry, for the employee lunch and learn sessions on YouTube. Using the Microsoft Teams attendee report that we have. If you are attending as a guest and you had to be admitted prior to the presentation, please provide me your email address in the Q&A chat, and I will add you to the mass email. Now's the time that we're going to go ahead and field any questions. If there are no questions, we'll go ahead and end the live event, and thank everyone for attending.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a good day.